we need to know our market, and we do know our market. We know that it's slow, and that's fine with us. We're not worried about that because a slow market is where a lease option is going to prevail over everything. This is the best market for us. That's why we're in business. That's why we're going to be able to take off so quickly. We need to work through the numbers on the home and know the tenant buyer's options. For instance, on a home that we have now, this is something that I did the other day. I was thinking, we were talking to people about showing the home, and I was thinking, if we give them one option, if we just give them one option, then if they're not okay with that option, then they're going to be turned off to the deal. But what I can do is I can go ahead and set up 3 different options, and then it could really branch into even more than that if they were, wanting to negotiate back and forth. But I would give them 3 options right at the very beginning of how they could pay for this home and get into this home when they're not eligible for financing. What I did is we had to net $5,000 to give to our seller. That means that he really isn't a highly motivated seller, but it's still a good deal because of the rent payment that we have to pay him. The market rent in the area is $1,550, if not higher, at least $1,550 on the low end. He only wants $1,000, okay? He wants $1,000 a month. Anything over and above that is what we get. So it's a good deal in that sense that we can put somebody in there quick because we can advertise it under market rent. So on all of our signs, I put $200 under market rent, $1,350 a month in Horse Creek. So what I did was I came up with 3 different solutions to 3 different options for this house. I said, okay, I'll give it to you for $1,350 a month, but what you have to do is you have to come up with a $7,500 down payment. So that way we'd be making a spread on the down payment. And then I said I could give it to you for $1,450 a month, but you'd have to come up with a $6,500 down payment. Then I said I could give it to you for $1,550 a month, but you'd have to come up with a $5,000 down payment. And that's fine because we don't have to knock it out of the park on every deal. We don't have to make an option payment on every deal. We can just go with our monthly payment and make a larger spread. Because if you think about it, it is nice to have the option payment, and then I think in most cases people would rather put down a bigger option payment and have a lower monthly payment. But if we had 10 properties that we were making $550 a month on, we're making pretty good money a month, and I'm not worried about collecting any option payment. So that's a good thing. Let's see, we need to retrieve our voicemails daily and call the people back to further qualify them. I went through the scripts earlier on how to talk to the people that you're calling back. We have to do that daily, and that also rests on mine and Jonathan's shoulders to get you your leads back. So we need to do that. We need to make sure and do that. We need to set up showings for the property. What we want to do on these showings is we want to set up multiple showings at the same time, because in essence we can create a bidding war. If we have 3 people coming to see this property that we have locked up right now, and I show them all the property at the same time, 3 different families, I show them all the property, and then I start explaining the options like I just explained to you. If one of them, was to go ahead and pick option A, $1,350 a month with an $8,000 down payment, and I show them that I'm interested in, that's the one that I want, that's what I was really looking for, but I could do the other ones, then it might start a bidding war between the other ones, because if these other 2 people really like this house as much as the first one who said, yeah, I can do that $1,350 a month, then they might say, well, I can give you $8,000 down and do $1,450 a month, or I can do $8,000 down and $1,400 a month, or I can do $10,000 down and $1,350 a month. So hopefully, if you're doing a multiple showing, then you could, start a bidding war, and then we can really do a good thing, and we can make some good money there. Let's see, we want to make sure the house shows well by doing or contracting out critical cleaning work. I have a house cleaner that we could use. She does excellent work, or we could just do some serious cleaning on the property and clean it up ourselves, and clean it really, really well. Another thing that he says to do is when you go on the property to show up 15 minutes early before showing, you want to open up the windows, you want to turn all the lights on. He said even go as far as to take some drops of vanilla and put it in the oven and bake it for 15 minutes. It'll make the whole house smell like cookies. You know, so you want to think about doing stuff like that, because what you really want to do is you want to let the buyers walk in and feel like home. You want them to walk in and feel like, you know, this can be their property. You want them to, you know, see a big open space. If you open the windows, it makes it look more open. Turn the lights on, it makes it look bigger. So what you want to do is you want them to feel like they could see themselves in this home. And, you know, that's critical, because if they don't see themselves in the home, then they're not going to want it, you know. So let's see. After showing the property to prospective tenant buyers, collect completed applications right on the spot. We want to get the application, the rental application, signed. If you have a property, we do have those, and we haven't given them to you, but if you have the properties and you have a showing, let us know. We'll give you rental applications. Go ahead and get them signed. He says to collect a $10 to $20 fee for rental applications. I just don't know if we can really do that right now. Maybe once we get established, we'll start doing that. But what I would say is we'll give you the applications. You go ahead and get them signed, and then we'll start looking over them and try to pick the best tenant buyer, and we'll show you how to do that, you know, as time goes on and through, you know, experience, and then you'll be able to do all this on your own. We need to screen applicants and select a tenant buyer, like I just said. We need to call, once we decide, call and share the good news with the tenant buyer. Now that's, you know, that's going to be a good part. That's when they're going to know that they get to, you know, have their new home, and they're all excited. And then we get excited when we meet the tenant buyer to fill out the paperwork and collect the money. That's when we're going to be getting excited. Okay. All right. A classified ad, putting a classified ad in the paper to generate a hungry tenant buyer. That's a good way to do that. And here's what we should put in our classified ad. We should put rent to own, however many bedrooms and baths. It says 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Beautiful view. Pick something about the home that stands out. You know, in this instance, it's a beautiful view. I don't know what it might be. You know, I have no idea. Whatever you would want that you would think would stand out to somebody. 30% rent credit. We're going to show them what we can do for them. So I don't know if we would put a rent credit on there, but we would do something that would make them want to call, something that we could do for them. And then obviously call 1-888-745-8530, your extension, and then free recorded message. We want to put signs in front of the house and around the neighborhood. And in 2 days this weekend, Jonathan and I have generated about 30 leads just putting signs out. Putting them out in front of the yard, putting some flyers, you know, under the sign, and having people pick those up and everything. And we've generated quite a few leads just on putting specific signs out in the area. Neighborhood flyers. Where do people who are likely to desire and are able to afford the property go? Obviously, you want to put the flyers out where those people are going to be at. Referrals from key people in the area. You know, if there's somebody that's a person who holds clout with people, somebody who people look up to that lives in the area, you know, you want to talk to them and ask them if they know anybody that might be moving there. If there's a real estate agent that you're friends with in that area, then that may be somebody that you want to talk to see if there could be a possible referral there. Retrieve the voicemail daily and call the potential tenant buyers back to further qualify them. Obviously, we understand that. We want to do that as soon as possible while the leads are as hot, you know, as they could possibly be. Step 6, we want to set up showings for the property, and, you know, obviously we want to set them up and be able to hopefully start a bidding war if we can, you know, bring people in at the same time. If we can set up, you know, where we can show it to 2 or 3 families at the same time, that would be the best way to do it, like I explained earlier. We want to make sure the house shows well by cleaning or contracting the high leverage cleaning work. Obviously, like I said, you know, maybe going as far as to putting the vanilla in the oven, or, you know, if we want to go in and we want to open up the windows, turn on all the lights, make it seem like it's larger than it is. We just want them to feel like they could see themselves in that home. They could see their, you know, children playing around the rooms, and they could see themselves sitting down to, you know, eat dinner in the dining room or whatever. Let's see.